Click the links for alternative platforms, or heaven forbid, to support the channel. Lord knows I deserve it. I'm doing the work of the angels here. So this soy boy writes this article about Russell Brand, and like everything in the article is just biased garbage. He writes for Forbes, which is like, if you're getting paid per click, man, you cannot be getting paid much if you're writing like pop culture on Forbes magazine, because your articles are absolute. I gotta wait 30 seconds before swearing. They're dog feathers articles. So everything is biased. He says, his fans are turning on him. I'm not sure if you're familiar with YouTube and the social blade, but no, clearly his fans are not turning on him. He's got probably one of the more successful channels on YouTube. People are very curious to hear someone who's an avowed left-winger slowly start to wash off that Matrix-level programming and leave the pod. So this is his channel. This is his daily subs. That's an insanely successful channel. So this guy, Danny D Placido, is a giant bleeding pussy. Left-wing plantation masters get very triggered when their celebrity slaves start thinking for themselves. If you're a celebrity puppet, it seems like you make a deal with the devil. You'll get your pieces of silver, but you can't speak out against the pure concentrated evil. If you remember that movie, that is Hollywood. Or really, you can't speak out against the left in general. You can only move left, which, I was reading this this guy's got it's on Twitter, it's @SoOppressed. He covers cancel culture. I'm surprised his channel's still up. He covers people being canceled, and the overwhelming majority of them are far left people who are being canceled for not being far left enough. Eventually, I know if you're on the left and you're one of these just giant bleeding pussies, eventually you're going to find a lot of them are women, so you're going to find your figurative balls and just say, maybe if I want to sell tacos, if I want to have a taco shop and I'm Irish. But which is funny about the thing about tacos and burritos is I probably said that subconsciously, because the Irish brought the concept of burritos to Mexico when the Irish were working in Mexico like 300 years ago. They were wrapping things up, and so the Mexicans actually kind of borrowed that concept to make burritos, and it was originally an Irish concept. It's like, the concept of wrapping foods. It's like cultural appropriation works where they want it to work. It's like, is it real? No, that's how cultures mix. Anyway, so like if you're Irish and you want to sell tacos in Seattle, you find out like, you can't do that because you have the wrong skin color. My point was that eventually, even if you're on the left and you're some young adult writer who's writing a fictional story about fictional creations and you get canceled because of some fictional hypothetical that never happened, at some point, don't you want to find your balls and say, maybe the people doing the canceling are wrong? Like, maybe we're on the wrong track here. Maybe cultures melt into each other. And if, like, you're talking about cultures that don't blend and borrow from each other, that's not how the past millions of years of human evolution has worked. They've constantly exchanged ideas and concepts from each other. From million-year-old flint scrapings from one tribe introduced a new method of flint scraping to another tribe. Oh, well, that's cultural appropriation. It's called progress, you fucking developmentally disabled people. So, my point was that if you're on the left, pull your head out of your ass and just say, maybe these people are all bad people. Maybe it's okay to borrow from other cultures. If I'm Irish and I want to sell burritos, maybe that's okay. Oh, well, that's not okay. But if you want to sell like Russian food, that's okay. Isn't that also cultural? Because they're not brown. They don't matter. Anyway, so it can be innocuous as not listing your pronouns because you want to be free from compelled speech. That is all it takes. Or if you draw a political cartoon, that is, if you're on the right, of course. Anything that signals that you're not 100% on board the commie agenda, then you are dead to them. Of course, sometimes they abandon the agenda, like with #MeToo, if you want to go look that up on Twitter, because it was mostly catching left-wing Hollywood Epstein, Weinstein types, and left-wing politicians like Al Franken, who did his little thing. Even Biden was caught touching children and molesting women, allegedly. Touching children, that's not alleged, because there's dozens of videos of him. And he gets behind women and he puts his hands all over them, and the left just, this is fine, he's just from a different generation. So they dropped #MeToo. The last big case was R. Kelly, who is black and hurts the narrative, so the media is going to ignore that. The left has a habit of shooting themselves in the foot. Every time they try to step out the door, they just step on their dicks. Joy Reid was whining about missing blonde woman syndrome. Normies thought the point of her argument was that the media wasn't covering missing POCs. And no, that's just normie thinking. And it is time to put aside your normie thinking ways. Sell your cloak and buy a spear. People roasted her because she is the media. And covering POCs would be really easy for her to do because she's on MSNBC. She could do like a little minute blurb at the end. She and the media don't cover missing POCs because the suspects are also POCs. Her rant was her being upset that the media covered missing blonde women. There's a big difference here because then it draws attention to missing POCs, which draws attention to the POC suspects. Joy Reid still won't cover missing POCs. And yeah, the media is doing it now. Okay, they'll do it for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then it will just fade away. Normies don't understand that people like Joy Reid are actual sociopaths. They will literally cover up crime against their own if it makes the tribe look bad. They don't want a solution. They will spend their energy in concealing Pac's crime, which is liberal wrongthink, rather than working on trying to actually stop these Malamunsay acts. You ask these left-wing puppets what they stand for. Die. Diversity, inclusion, equity. I'm not making that up. Which are all cancer because people aren't equal. Then you ask them how that stops the Chicago deletion rate of 1 pox per day, and they look at you with the angry NPC face because it doesn't. The deletions will continue every day in Chicago for the rest of your life. They will continue because if you keep doing what you've done, you're going to get the same results that you got. Left-wing, diverse, inclusive cities are dystopian, ultra-violent nightmares. How are those liberal soft-on-crime policies working out for you? Catch and Release teaches criminals that there are no consequences for crimes and that they're not responsible for their own acts. In California, they literally pay pox criminals to not delete each other. I know you think I'm making that up. I'm not. Welcome to the Bay Area. Hey, I'm on team accelerate it. Step on the gas. Anything to wake up the normies on the left and the right. Because honestly, if you accelerate it, I strongly suspect that the normies on the left are going to come running to the right as fast as their Hugo Boss will allow them. Though the San Francisco liberal is probably way, way beyond saving. South Park's view of San Francisco's liberals is pretty freaking accurate. Hashtag the 19th was a mistake. Oh, what does he say? In the past, Brand has interviewed Jordan Peterson, Candace, and Ben Shapiro. Yeah, look, they all write nothings. So this spurging soy boy seems perturbed that Russell Brand dares to take the to milquetoast normies interview like Candace with Jordan Peterson and the other controlled op pussies. How dare he talk to the most boring conservatives in name only on earth? What have these pussies conserved? They have events to talk about being canceled. Then they cancel the speakers who are a millimeter to the right of the accepted spectrum. Yeah, you Dan Crenshaws, Ben Shapiro's, Charlie Kirk's are as based as orange juice. I want to apologize for that chemistry joke. Unacceptable. So these fence sitters are writing a fence made of dildos. This soy boy refers to these moderate viewpoints as odious, and he uses that word a few times in his articles. Russell Brand is not talking to Stalin, Castro, Mao, Pol Pot, or Papa Doc. These might be referred to as odious people. Brand is a normie who is slowly learning that the media, government, and bankers is a slave-making machine with the goal of making a tiny minority ultra-wealthy and powerful at the expense of the cattle, us, you and I, no matter our race or our circumstances. If you're listening to this, you're probably not one of the ultra wealthy. I don't know what they would do, but they're probably not listening to YouTube. We're the cattle to these ultra wealthy parasites. And if I was an ultra wealthy, I always thought I would be sitting on a beach somewhere. And now I realize, no, I'd be surrounded by computers getting the message out. That's what I would do with the money. I wouldn't just sit on a beach with it. Anything the soy boy vagina does is to frame Russell Brand in a malevolent light. The first paragraph says his fans got suspicious. The implication of this is that Brand thinking for himself is wrong-think. So Russell Brand sort of retired from Hollywood, as his agent undoubtedly told him already. If his agent hasn't already dropped him, I'm sure maybe he probably has. But to be fair, the stuff he was in probably isn't politically correct anyway. Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Get Him to the Greek are the only two things I really remember him in. Are probably offensive Islamophobicism these days. Even those kind of like just stupid, fun movies from like 10 years ago, I think. I look back at those movies now, and those movies for the time were probably woke, but you think like how innocent those just dumb, fun movies were, and they were. That was just fun movies with funny people doing ridiculous things. Because insane pussy soy boys and cat ladies ruin everything. How do I say this next thing on YouTube? The reason we're where we are is because we're listening to people who got, what do you call those, consolidation prizes, participation trophies. The people on Twitter who are controlling the narrative for America right now are cat ladies, wine moms, and I don't want to be Islamophobic here, but I'll say soy boys who when I say the 19th Amendment was a mistake, shit, I don't think I can say it without getting kicked off. I'll leave it at that. So, they get what they deserve. All these people, this world they're creating, you get what you belt. This is the house you belt on very, very shifting sands. Every post-2020 riot, BLM riot, Antifa riot film is going to be like Shang-Chi, a nothing movie starring nobody. Movies that 60 minutes after watching, you instantly forget, and yeah, that was sort of a Chinese joke. The reason these soy boys have the power to destroy everything cool is because Twitter is run by blue-haired land whales. So if you call these kitty-diddling pussies out, you'll get banned. Then you go to Gab and they say, see, they were alt-right Nazis the whole time. Because free speech is a far-right value now. Really, it is. The left is literally on the side of sexualizing kids, and we're the bad guys because we feel that perhaps they shouldn't do that, and they should get... we should express our displeasure like a historical figure that Dracula was based on did. Which some of them would no doubt enjoy because they're all filthy, filthy degenerates. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next episode.